What's up, guys?
On this week's show,
Bitch, are you for real? All that and more on this episode of One Giant Leap for Geeks.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for
Geeks. Welcome to another episode of OG LFG, where we talk about movies, video games, and all things in geek culture. I'm your host, mikecsquared, and with me is my lovely substitute co-host, A-Train.
what's up?
Now, before we get started, I want to let you know, if you enjoy the show, tell some friends about us. Share us on your social media, wherever you choose to do. Just know that you're helping us let others know about the best damn podcast they probably never heard of. Now, if you want to talk to us, the show is on Twitter at GiantLeap4Geeks, or you can get a hold of our resident DJ Melly Mel at Froggy Beaver. A-Train,
What?
what you been doing?
Dealing with a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. For about 3 weeks now, I've been dealing with car problems.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go down the list. So the engine in your car
Blew up.
Yep. It didn't blow up. The car is fine. Well, no, the car is not fine, but the engine did go kaput.
Pistons.
Yep. So what? Timing
Chain.
pistons, valves, a bunch of other shit.
Everything.
Yeah, just burn it, kill it with fire. It's dead.
Phone broke.
Yep. I was saying, then right after that, what happened?
My motherboard,
Mhm.
what's it called?
And your Galaxy S10.
Yep. The motherboard went kaput.
Yep.
So I
Fried, I guess. I don't know.
I keep forgetting the word. It starts with an S. Something. I'll remember it in like 5 minutes.
Shattered?
No. Not sparked.
Shorted?
Shorted. I think shorted out. Yeah.
Okay. All
So
right.
I need a whole new motherboard on my phone.
Mhm,
So
yep.
pretty much whole new rebuild on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So car broke, phone broke, A-Train broke. So that's what I've been doing. It's been fun.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
As for me, not a whole lot this week. Work, normal stuff. I've been trying to still, as of yet, has not gotten a streaming schedule nailed down. Hopefully by next week, I'll have something figured out, because I want to make set days where I do it. But if you guys listen to the podcast and want to come talk to me when I'm streaming, it's twitchtv/mikecsquared. I'm on randomly, so
Usually you put it out on Twitter, don't you?
yeah, I'll usually put out a tweet, and like if you go follow the Twitch channel, then you can turn on your notifications, so then when I do go live, you'll know if you don't catch it on Twitter.
And sometimes you might be able to hear a special guest, Parker.
Right. My dog attacking me during the stream, or my girlfriend
Giving
bitching about
kisses.
something in the background during the stream, stubbing her toe or some silly shit.
Oh, it's good times.
Yeah, no, it's fun times. No, and as well too, more importantly to that point, I wanted to say, if there's anyone that's listening that enjoys watching streams and stuff like that, if there is a game in particular or a topic in particular that you want to hear me talk about or want to talk about with me while I'm streaming live, because I know that I've heard feedback from some people that they like, being able to have a live conversation while they're listening.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always, open to suggestions on games that you think I would like, that you want to see me play, or topics that you want to talk about. Anything at all, because I'm new with the whole streaming thing, so I haven't quite, formulated how I want to do the streams. But as of right now, I usually stream just whatever game I'm playing at the time, and then just have a topic for when I'm playing. I've talked about Attack on Titan, Joker movie, who's the best Batman, a few different things so far. So I mean, it's coming together little by little, but we'll see how it goes.
Join us tomorrow for a special episode.
Right.
With Amber. What grinds my gears?
Right, exactly. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. So without further ado, we are moving on.
Oh no, they say bad things happen in threes. Hopefully your computer doesn't die next.
Fuck, who is the man who looks out for his brother, man? Shaft. Oh, wait, wrong movie. We're not doing Shaft. Dolemite. Dolemite Is My Name is the movie that we're going to be reviewing today, and we were lucky enough to catch this on Netflix a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since the trailer came out, we talked about it a while back, and I was really excited for this. Like, I am a fan of blaxploitation movies. I know that's maybe not something you're supposed to say and or like, but I mean, I don't look at it as in the exploitation of African Americans in cinema. I look at it more as this was an opportunity and an avenue for African Americans to break into cinema and be represented in a light that's not blackface or, you know, a slave or some shit like that, to where it was like, yeah, there were goofy movies, and I mean, there was Blackula and all kind of shit like that, but still, I feel like it was movies like Dolemite that paved the way for us to get Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a real far stretch,
That's a
but
jump.
but that's how we got there. Thanks. So if you like Black Panther, thank fucking Rudy Ray Moore for that. When we recorded the episode for the trailer, I made a thumbnail for it when I put it on YouTube, and I put like, is Eddie Murphy funny again? And that question, I think, has been answered.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I think it was funny.
Okay. I would agree with that. I would say that this is probably the funniest Eddie Murphy has been in decades. It's sad to say, but Eddie Murphy...
You didn't like Dr. Dolittle?
No. No. You know, and it's funny because Dr. Dolittle and Dr. Dolittle 2, they were okay at the time. He hadn't full-on went into just family comedy mode at that point. He was kind of dabbling in it, but it was like, you know what? These are all right. You know, and then he started doing the Nutty Professors, and then the Haunted Mansion, and then Imagine That, and then it just started to just spiral, and I was just like, Eddie, who got some fucking pictures of you, you know, fucking around with some dude in a hot tub or some shit? Like, somebody's either blackmailing you or you owe the IRS money, because I'm like, you can tell that his heart wasn't really in those movies. Like, yeah, he would go and act, but he didn't bring that special magic to it that Eddie used to bring to his movies.
You could tell, like, this was all him.
Oh, yes. No, this was I don't know if it was it might be going a bit far to say it was a passion project per se, but I do think that he was invested in telling this story more than he's been in telling any of the other stories he's been doing for quite a while.
Wait a minute. He was funny in Norbit.
That was like 20 years ago, though.
No, it wasn't.
Norbit's old, babe.
I was not 6 years old when that shit came out.
Okay, it wasn't literally 20 years ago, but it was quite a while ago. That being said, though, I know that you don't know anything about Rudy Ray Moore, but 12 years ago, 2007.
Okay. So after Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah, over a decade. But even in that, I wasn't really...
I thought the movie was hilarious.
Either way, no, he... I lost my train of thought. What was I about to say?
Rudy.
Oh, yes. I know that you don't know much about Rudy Ray Moore. And probably, honestly, most people don't know a whole lot about Rudy Ray Moore, unless you were into blaxploitation movies or maybe grew up around that time. And even then, you might still not know, you know, who Rudy Ray Moore is. Basically, they say he started off as a stand-up comedian, started his career that way, but that's kind of when his career took off. Rudy Ray Moore had done, you know, music and all kind of stuff. Like, it seemed like he was one of those people who was always chasing the spotlight.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't care what he was doing as long as he was doing it in front of an audience. Mm-hmm. So whether it be stand-up comedy, singing, acting, I mean, an amalgamation of all three. it didn't matter. Rudy was a performer at heart, and he wanted to be not only seen, not only did he want what he was doing to be seen and loved by people, but he was chasing recognition in his adult life and affirmation that he didn't necessarily get when he was a child growing up. Because you find out during the movie that he went through a lot of stuff with his father being a farmer and how he told him that he was never going to grow up to be anything. And, you know, it felt like a lot of what was driving him was trying to prove his old man wrong. Like, you know, I won't be like you. You know, I'm going to make something of myself. I'm not going to die a farmer and that kind of shit. So that was an interesting thing that they touched on in the movie. Didn't go too much into it.
No, not really.
But gave you enough to go like, okay, like there's some deeper something going on with him that's kind of making him go like, you know, why can't you just be content with just being a normal person with a regular job? Like, why do you have to be a superstar, you know, like, or in his eyes, a superstar? I've made this joke twice now, so this will be a third time. If you are black in Hollywood and you weren't in Black Panther, The Lion King, or apparently this, you fucking up.
You lost that money.
Yeah, you are on somebody's shit list, because I thought Black Panther had got all the black folks that was working in Hollywood on that movie. Most of them. And then The Lion King, I figured that they picked up the rest. But there was still a handful here or there left. You know, they was like, oh, throw Wesley Snipes a line and see what he doing. He ain't doing shit. They ain't putting him in another Blade movie, so might as well see what his ass doing now. But I was really happy with the cast that they put together for this. It was actually quite impressive, because some of these people I haven't seen in something in quite a while, i.e. Wesley Snipes as Dorville Martin. I'm probably murdering that name. Dorville? See, now it just sounds like making fun of somebody. Yeah, so we got Wesley Snipes, Keegan-Michael Key, Craig Robinson, Mike Epps, Titus Burgess, Divine Joy Randolph, Snoop Dogg, Chris Rock, and T.I.
I think Snoop was the best part.
He was the first scene of the movie. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, it opens up with him. And and just to let you know, guys, spoilers.
Yeah, we aren't holding back.
Yeah, I was gonna say
this is on Netflix. You can go watch it at any time. It's been out for a minute.
Yeah, so sorry we didn't say it at the beginning, but spoilers. But go ahead.
But yeah, Snoop and Eddie Murphy's character, they just kind of worked really well together.
Yeah, I thought they played well off each other, yeah.
And just that opening line, or that opening scene, I'm just like...
Yeah, where he's trying to, like...
Get him to play music.
Yeah, the records that he brought in. And which is so funny, too, because the way it's shot and the way it's set up, it makes it seem like he's, like, at a radio station trying to get a DJ to play his records. But they pull out and you realize that he is a DJ inside of a record store
that Eddie Murphy works in.
Right. He was the manager, I guess. Yeah, or part of management. I don't know if he was running the motherfucker, but and he's just going on and on about like, oh, this should have been a hit, and this, that, and the other. He was like, or this was a hit, and he was like, he's like, man, this ain't even make it on Billboard. He's like, well, it should have been a hit. He was like, but then they put all their damn money in that James Brown, this, that, and the other, all dancing and falling out. He's like, fuck James Brown. That shit had me in tears. I was like, oh, yes. And I think that was a good way to start the palette, start off with a scene like that to kind of let you know, like, okay, this is what this kind of movie that you're in store for. Like, if you don't like cussing and motherfuckers, you know, talking jive and all that kind of shit, it's like, then this movie is not going to be for you, because it takes place in the 70s. You know, it's a predominantly black class.
A lot of N-words, a lot of F-words.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things I found interesting. One of the characters that Titus Burgess plays, Theodore, I was really interested. It was really interesting to see how they reacted or how they treated his character throughout the movie, because in the movie, his character is gay, but it's not obvious right away. he drops a couple hints here and there. He says certain things, but the main cast kind of ignores it for the most part. But there is one scene where they're at a barbecue and they were talking about making the movie, and they were like, man, you need all this stuff. Like, you need cameras and a best boy and this, that, and the other. He's like, oh, I wish I had a best boy. And then like they laugh, and Rudy like kind of snaps at him. He's like, oh, why are you bringing up that shit? He's like, oh, we trying to have a wholesome family get together and this, that, and the other. Like, kind of shaming him for being gay. Like, oh, don't talk about, wanting to be with men and shit like that. There's kids here and something like that, he says. And I was like, that was interesting, because you got to think back. At that time,
it was kind of like
homosexuality wasn't necessarily a secret, but it definitely wasn't, like, accepted by no means. No, not nowhere near.
Behind them closed doors.
Right. Closed back doors. Sorry. No, it was too easy to make that joke. I'm sorry. But it was interesting to me to just see like what the culture was like at that time, and how like race relations were between blacks and whites, and like, how relations were between homosexuals and straights and stuff like that. The movie isn't about those things, but it's peppered in there to kind of give you an idea of the world, excuse me, that you are being put into.
Yeah.
I was remiss, though. I would be remiss to not mention Mike Epps. Mike Epps, I love Mike Epps. I think he's hilarious. Like, I've watched a bunch of his stand-up specials. He's really funny in those. I love him in the Friday movies. He ain't no Chris Tucker. He will never replace Smokey. Never. But he's alright. but I think he did a really good job in this. Like, he had a more like subdued part, though. Like, I thought he'd be in it a bit more. I mean, he's in it throughout the movie, but his part is very small. You kind of just usually see him in the background. He might have a line or two here or there, but he doesn't do a whole lot.
We gotta forget, Chris Tucker's in this shit.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Or no, Chris Rock.
Oh, Chris Rock
is in this. Racist.
One of them
racist.
Chris's.
One of them black folks. I don't know. They all look alike.
That is not what I said.
Not at all. No. A-Train loves black people. Her boyfriend's black. It's fine. It's okay. Her best friends are black. No, but we had like an all-star little, cast, and then we had some nice fun little cameos from, Chris Rock and Snoop, which I thought that was cool. Which I'm pretty sure Snoop was high in the scene that he was in.
He had to have been.
Because his eyes was... When he took the sunglasses off to look at him, I was like, God damn, your eyes is red to the motherfucker.
He just...
And they always puffy.
Yeah, they always are like that.
I don't know. Maybe because he smokes so much? Or maybe his eyes are just like that? I don't know.
I don't want to find out.
No, but he always looked like he just got hit in the eye or something. Or like his allergies are acting up. Eyes are like swollen shut.
Seasonal allergies.
Or you got the glaucoma. But the man himself, Eddie, like I really, really liked him in this part. I don't think we've seen a role like this out of him in a long, long, long time. I mean, it's probably one of those dream roles, I would imagine, to where you get to play a real person, so you have something to draw from. And this is going to sound kind of bad, but I don't mean it with any kind of negative connotation, but I would almost imagine that it's easier to portray a real life person, more difficult because you want to be true to the essence of who they were, and you don't want to misrepresent that person, especially if they're still living. But I think that when you have someone to base your performance off of, it makes it a little bit easier, because you just go like, okay, this is what I'm trying to build towards. Mm-hmm. Or as opposed to when you just have a character on paper and it's not anything to base it off of, you have to come up with, okay, well, how does this character talk? What kind of mannerisms does he have? Just any other.
I feel like he was kind of good for this role because of all the stuff he did with SNL and just kind of like thinking on his feet and stuff like that. So he was already good at doing stuff like that. Yeah,
he comes from a comedic background.
Exactly.
So, this was like an easy transition for him, because he went from being a comedian to an actor and being in movies and stuff. Like, Eddie don't do stand-up no more. He did stand-up in 30 fucking years. Mm-hmm. So it was like maybe even longer. So, he now, he just strictly does movies. Granted, luckily he's doing a good movie this time, but this movie did give me hope. Because Coming to America 2 is still going to be a thing for some reason. And this gave me hope. Because before I saw this, I was like, man, they going to fuck this shit up. They are going to fucking ruin this goddamn movie for me. I know the movie is still there. This doesn't make it disappear or change anything, but still, it's going to make me look at it and remember it in a bad light. But after seeing this, I'm like, if they can get the same writers and producers and directors behind Coming to America 2 as they did this movie, I would be all for it.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was not like knee-slappingly, oh my god, I'm peeing my pants hilarious.
No, but it was humorous.
But pretty damn funny, though. I mean, and the breakout character and star of the movie, who I didn't expect to love his character so much, was Wesley Snipes. Like, his D'Urville Martin, like, was, oh my god. Like, I have yet to stop referencing the scene where they first approach him in the strip club, mind you. And they go up to him and they're trying to make him to pitch for their movie, and they're like, yeah, we want you to be in it. And he's like, hold on, baby, I'm legit. He's like, I got agents and people, okay? He's like, you think if I was white, you could just come up here and just hire me? No! It was so funny, man. And like, everything he did, like when they are filming the scene where the FBI are like coming up on Rudy, and he like is fighting them and like chopping and kicking and shit. And
I don't even think we need a reshoot.
Right. He was like, whoa, what do you think? Was that good? And he was like, I see no reason to do it again.
And I like the fact that he was just trying to hide the fact that he was drinking.
At first.
But then after that, he's just straight drinking out of the flask.
Just full on. Because at first it was like, oh, I'm going to pour a little bit in this orange juice. Or, I got a thermos and I'm pouring some vodka in there. And then it was just like, I'm just got the flask. I figured by the end of the movie, they was going to hook this motherfucker up to an IV with like vodka just pouring into his veins. Because he did not want any part of that movie at all.
No.
And I thought it was interesting too, like seeing how Rudy started his comedic career. I still feel bad. I wish that there had been a moment in the movie like that, but maybe it never happened, so maybe that's why it's not in the movie. But I still feel bad for the homeless guy that he stole all these fucking jokes from. Because he got literally nothing out of it besides some company and a fucking fifth of some cheap vodka. And I'm like, that's fucked, man. I'm like, Rudy went on to make, a good amount of money. His net worth, he got to become a millionaire. And that dude probably died in a fucking gutter somewhere. So I felt kind of a little some type of way about that. I wish that guy could have got something out of this.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe he did. Maybe they didn't put it in the movie. I don't know. But it don't seem like that's how it went down.
We will never know.
No. But it was cool to see how he was like a self-starter and he was selling the albums out of his trunk of his car. And he kind of shook up the industry and made people who would have never normally partook in blaxploitation movies or anything like that, like pay attention to him. Because like the studios were like, well, who's going to watch this? Whites? They're not going to watch this trash or whatever. And he was like, blacks that don't buy out of the trunk of their cars or shop out of trunks of cars. And I was like, okay. One of my favorite scenes though, and you know the one I'm going to talk about.
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
When he goes to the studio that basically specializes in blaxploitation movies, and they won't produce his movie. Oh yeah. He's like, yeah. See, he was like the brothers that we have in our films are, are professionals and actors, and
you're a little bit doughier.
Right, you're a bit doughier than they and he's like doughier. He was like, well, I may not be, whatever. He was like, but whatever he says to him, and basically he's like, well, see, we're trying to make a different kind of movie, brother. He's like, here, let me tell you about this one. He's like, you gonna love this. He was like, you really gonna get a kick out of this. He was like, it's called Cornbread Jim and Me. and it's a movie about the first black kid in the local white college or some shit like that. And he was like real powerful stuff, real uplifting. And he was like, brother, don't nobody want to see that shit. And it was true. It was just like, I want to know to this day. I gotta look this shit up. Did they ever make that fucking movie?
Cornbread Jim and me.
Man, oh my God. And it might not have been Jim. Maybe it was Cornbread Earl. Who fucking knows? But it was just some racist ass shit.
They said cornbread, though.
And I was like, ooh, child. Lord have mercy. So I want to know, did they make that fucking movie? 'Cause we need to watch that shit.
Can we talk about, though, when he making the album work for these records or whatever, and he, like, posing with the girl and
yeah. Which by the way, kids, there's ass and titties in this movie, so if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff and you haven't seen it
there's
yet,
some mild nudity.
You know, you might want to stay away. God damn, that girl, she took off that robe. I was like, holy shit, this movie just went up like 2 ratings. Like, god damn.
I love how he just brought in the bowl of fruit.
Yep. Well, yeah, because it was like because they were doing a photo shoot for the album cover. And, you know, like the producers and like studio execs, they're all like, okay, so this is what we're kind of got in mind and this is how we want to do. And Rudy was like, oh no, me and the model, we already worked this shit out. This is literally exactly what we finna do. They took the picture and that was it. And that's the album cover. And I was telling you when we were watching it, I was like, and that is literally the cover to that album. That is exact, that pose and everything. I'm like, that is the album. And then it was funny because like going like further in time when you see more of Rudy's albums, like that one, she was kind of like covering herself and trying to hide nudity a little bit. And then like as it progressed, it was just straight up titties just on the cover of his albums after a while. And I was like, yeah. He was pushing the envelope like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Oh, yeah.
I would say this movie isn't like most biopics where it's like, oh, this uplifting message and this and the other. This is just kind of telling the story of a guy who came from nothing, who wanted to make something out of himself.
And he didn't care how he did it.
Right. And he had no shame in how he went about achieving that goal. And I appreciated that. I didn't need it to be... we
didn't want it censored.
Yeah, but I didn't need it to be some kind of inspiring message about, you know, determination and being diligent. And I'm like, no, I just needed it to be basically what it was. It's a fun little comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I after watching this, I've seen it in bits and pieces, but never the whole way through. But the first thing I said after we finished it and they showed the little reel at the end of the actual movie and the whole bitch, are you for real and all that shit, I was like, we gotta watch this fucking movie. like I promise you, before I die or before this podcast is over, not this particular installment of the podcast, but in general, we will review the original 1975, I think, Dolemite. It will be talked about on this podcast, I promise you. Because I was like, that is a missed opportunity. Like, how have I not talked about this already?
Have a couple cocktails.
Oh God, yes. That yes. The alcohol would actually probably go great with that movie, to be honest. I mean, I think all the acting was good. I like the story. They kind of streamlined it somewhat and kind of, you know, trimmed some of the less important things off than what they were trying to really focus on. But I do think that the length was a little long.
A little bit, yeah.
Towards the tail end, because they spend so much time in the middle of the movie with the whole filming of Dolemite that by the time it goes into the third act where, you know, the movie doesn't get released right away and then he's back to working, you know, just regular jobs and shit, like, by the time we got to that point, I was like, okay, we can kind of wrap it up now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the time was a little uneven. I felt like it was heavy in the middle and kind of lighter at the beginning and the end. But I mean, it's only 2 hours. I mean, I think a little less.
No, it's 2 hours.
Okay. But I mean, you do start to feel the time about midway through. Not that the movie's quality declines or it gets boring. It just feels a little long, especially because you don't know where the end is.
Exactly.
So you don't know, like, okay, well, are we gonna get to? They finish filming it and then the movie goes off. Or are we gonna get to a
That's
premiere?
what we thought.
Yeah, but then it kept going after that, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this isn't the end. So I think that might have been part of why it felt a little bit long too, is because we weren't sure where they were going to cut it off at. Because I'm like, well, okay, we're not going to see him like laying in his bed, like dying and writing his, final will and testament and shit. Like, we're not going to go that far, but, I'm like, it's going to cut off at some point here. I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot much more to say about it. I really enjoyed it. I loved all the costumes and the hairstyles.
Oh, yeah, that was perfect.
Oh, man, them afros. Oh, God. It made me cry a small tear.
But I think he was, like, the perfect person to portray this character.
Yeah.
Because he's a character himself,
yeah.
so...
Well, because, like, for example, could you have imagined Chris Rock being Dolemite?
I don't think so.
No, I couldn't have seen it either.
No, he's not...
Or,
he's
like,
got
or...
a big personality,
yeah.
But... I don't know.
You know who I think could have done it, and honestly, who probably should have done it?
Who?
I think Craig Robinson should have probably been Dolemite.
He could have done it.
Because honestly, I mean, just off the look alone, he looks more like Dolemite than Eddie does.
He could have done it.
And I feel like he would have did a good... Not like he would have did better, but I think...
He would have brought his own little spice to the mix.
Right, agreed. But I think that was weird.
It was very weird.
But I don't know. I just think that this would have suited him maybe a little bit better. I think this fit Eddie like a glove, but I think that it would have fit Craig like a tailored suit.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this, if he had been a bigger star, I think he would have been headlining this movie as opposed to Eddie.
He could have.
But just the same, I liked his part in it, as small as it was. I liked his part in it.
No, I liked
thought
him
it was
too.
funny. I loved Eddie in it, and I'm really glad that he's back to doing like comedy again and not just bullshit. But other than that, any final thoughts on Dolemite Is My Name? Fucking up motherfuckers is my game.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we covered everything I wanted to talk about.
Well, if you haven't listened to one of our reviews before, we have a 5-tier rating system. It goes...
Really fucking hated it. Hated it. Meh. Liked it. And really fucking liked it.
All right. A-Train, what would you rate Dolemite Is My Name?
I would say I'm between a liked it and really fucking liked it.
Oh, that good, huh? Okay.
Yeah, like you said, it did get a little long. I caught myself looking at the phone before it died.
Sure.
About halfway through. So I got a little lost in the scrolling sphere. But other than that, I enjoyed it. It was a nice little movie to watch.
Nice little romp.
Snuggling on the couch watching movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go liked it. Didn't really fucking liked it, but I did like it quite a bit though.
Yeah.
I'm almost willing to give it a really fucking liked it just for them titties. No, no, for Eddie's performance, because I was just really happy to just see him be old Eddie again. So, right.
I wish I could have inputted like a picture of your face when you just did that.
Right. Them titties get 2 thumbs up. But yeah, I would highly suggest, if you haven't checked out Dolemite Is My Name, I'm sorry we spoiled the movie for you. I mean, it's a
just
biopic.
go watch it.
I mean, how can I spoil that? It's public information. But yeah, no, definitely go check it out. It's on Netflix right now, streaming, so you can watch it whenever it suits your flavor. But because we live in Michigan and it is the winter time, we had a horrible snowstorm over the weekend leading into the beginning of the week. At the beginning of the week, more so than anything. And so, unfortunately, DJ Millie Mel couldn't be with us today because I wasn't going to make her drive through all this nonsense just to come record the podcast. So, today, this is all you get is a movie review. Sorry, guys. Don't know if you were hoping for more or not, but just enjoy what you got. Sorry. But that is it for the show. Remember, you can always find us at our home, onegiantleapforgeeks.libsyn.com. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, or anywhere else you get your podcast. Make sure to show us some love, so go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, rate, follow, review us, and all that shit.
Any questions you want us to answer on the show, any comments, criticisms, or just want to say hi, you can email us at officialoglfg@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter at GiantLeap4Geeks, and on Facebook, Reddit, and Instagram. Just search for One Giant Leap for Geeks. Bye!